what's coming up now? Okay, so I just want to do this quick video. I wanted to just give a little quick breakdown here because this is going to be about the current events. So, I gotta use code words and shit. But anyway, so you already know what I'm talking about, right? So what I'm seeing going on is definitely a big shift in consciousness for the collective, okay? I do see that there's going to be somewhat of a breakdown, okay? Things that are established are going to start to crumble, okay? Remember, psychic ability, like this is just what I'm seeing, so you might interpret my words differently than I do, but whatever you see as something that is big and established, it is going to start to crumble, okay? And this is on a collective scale. Now, I'm not talking about anyone as an individual in this broadcast. I'm just going collectively what's going on. Before the start of this whole shit, which was I believe like November 2019, okay? Now when I was tuned in then, obviously I didn't know what it was, but I had a very uneasy feeling, okay? From November, I would say like the entire month of November, maybe late October leading into early December, I was even leading into like the first weeks of January of 2020 last year. I was very, very uneasy, okay? I just, and I didn't know why, because obviously no one really knew about the global events that were going on at that time. But I remember that I didn't want to go anywhere. I didn't want to travel. I just wanted to like stay home, okay? And I did not know why. And it was just not a very pleasant feeling. And I didn't understand because there was nothing going on in my life at that point that would have, contributed to that, if you know what I'm saying. So it was really out of nowhere. And generally, I'm not like that at all. But all of a sudden, it's like I just turned into some sort of like uneasy recluse, however the fuck you say it. You know what I'm talking about though. So I sort of turned into that and I didn't understand what was going on. But then in January and then leading into like February, March, I started feeling different because now there were different reports coming out going on about that. So I kind of put two and two together. So I was like, oh, that's why I was feeling like that, because obviously you know what happened after that. I don't know about globally, but in the United States where I am, in March 2020, it was like lockdown fucking city. And then I was like, oh, that makes sense. And so the reason why I shared that little story with you is because that's what my psychic senses were telling me at that point, even though I didn't know exactly what was going on. It was just sort of like a consciousness. And for some weird reason, I kind of didn't think it was about me because there was nothing logically that would have made me feel that way, uneasy or reclusive or anything. There was just nothing going on, but it was like a weird sense of like that I wanted to confine myself and I wanted to sort of harbor myself in my home, right? So now we fast forward. We obviously know what happened since then. So then when I found out what it was, I was like, oh, okay, so that makes sense. That's what was going on. Now, since it came out, since everything is really out now, well, not everything, but you know what I mean. The reason for my reclusivity was shown to me. After that, I started feeling very, very enraged, okay? Like not with anything again that had to do with me, just like on a collective level, because what I was picking up energetically, I was like, this is not right. Whatever they are doing, in my view, everything that I felt, it did not feel right. And I don't mean in a sense that where it was like I was uneasy. It was more like I was disgusted. Like, what the fuck is this shit going on? Like no one has the ability to have control over a sentient being in such a way that they are executing. So I started feeling enraged, and then obviously, I started doing my homework on all of this shit. I channeled some information regarding this shit, and if you're familiar with my content, you already know because I talked about it. So fast forward to now. So since I would say I don't know, late November, this past year, 2020, leading into now, my energy has been building up. And this is why you probably see me posting a lot more and doing more of this, because I need to get this energy out, because I'm really hyped. And these are all my psychic senses. And this is why I wanted to give you that backstory, because right now I feel is going to come into fruition within the next 6 months. And again, I said things that you find to be established, order and authority, like things that would be governed by Saturn, let's say, they are going to start crumbling, okay? And there are going to be truths coming out that might shock some people. Some truths have already started coming out. I'm sensing this sort of like elation. I'm sensing this like a breaking free. And again, I think it might have to do with the conjunction, with the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction that happened on the 21st of December 2020. But what I'm sensing is, like, with this age of Aquarius, there is going to be shattering and dismantling of old paradigms in the collective, okay? So this, I'm not speaking about individual to individual. I'm just speaking on a collective whole, okay? Because when I felt that uneasy feeling, that was sort of like a trailer of what the fuck was gonna come, right, for 2020. That uneasy, like, wanting to, like, confine myself and things like that. And then it ended up happening on a collective level. So what I'm talking about here is collectively. I'm sensing this exuberance. I'm sensing on a whole things being dismantled. Ideologies that are not serving, that were never serving, are going to be blown to smithereens, okay? Things that you thought were brick walls are going to dissolve into open doorways, archways, and individuals are going to be stepping through and reclaiming their power over their sovereignty, okay? And then I'm talking about globally, worldwide. Things are going to come out. I do sense that there's going to be an uprising. I do sense that there are going to be many different revolutions. Depending where you're located, they might look different, but there's going to be a lot of revolutions. There's going to be more individuals that are standing firm in their individuality and displaying their truth and not giving a fuck who sees it. And just having no apologies for being themselves. And there is going to be somewhat of like an energetic civil war, okay? Now, this is not something that I'm seeing as like, you know, people literally fist fighting or whatever. But what I'm seeing, it's gonna be more of like an energetic level where it's like collectively individuals are going to start demanding answers, and they're going to not receive those answers, and then they're going to go looking for the answers themselves. And then when they find the answer, they're going to present it back to the individual that was withholding that information. They're going to be like, so what's this? And then it's sort of like, well, cat's out of the bag now, the skeleton's out of the closet, you know? And that's what I'm seeing. And I'm seeing it more about individuality versus authority. Okay, so it's more about like the expression of the individual rights that is going to be warring against like the establishment and what is being oppressed onto the people, okay? So I don't know if that really makes sense, but I don't see it as being a time that is scary. I'm not sensing that there's going to be, I mean, there might be short bursts of anger, but I really don't see that either. I just see it more of like, I don't give a fuck. This is what I'm going to do. What are you going to do about it? And then the minute someone claims that for themselves, it's like the perceived enemy is going to dissolve. And that's why I said there's going to be a lot of dismantling of things that were established, okay? So obviously this can happen, with someone in their personal life too, but I'm just seeing this collectively, okay? So it might affect everyone differently, and there might be standing up for yourself in your circle, sort of saying like, look, this is who I am, this is what I'm about. If you don't like it, you don't need to be near me. And then it's like motherfuckers to be like, oh shit, like, whoa, okay. And I feel like that's just going to be happening collectively all over Earth. And the feeling that I wanted to tell you about, like to compare it to the earlier feeling that I was talking about where I was uneasy, now I feel really elated, I feel really magnetized, I feel really electrified. So all these things, they might seem like I'm talking about like revolution and shit. Like, it sounds like it's fucking scary, but it's not going to be scary. It's going to be something that is liberating. It's going to feel very freeing like physically, okay, but also freeing energetically, freeing emotionally, free thinking, obviously big thing with Age of Aquarius here, but it's being more like not being afraid to express who you are and standing up for your own rights, whichever they may be to you. You know, everyone thinks differently about different things, but I feel like any type of perceived oppressors are going to fall to the wayside, and it's going to essentially be a revolution, a mass revolution from now, like, you know, following 6 months, okay, in like an uprising, in an elevated consciousness. And I've been feeling this way, I said, for like maybe a little over a month now. Is it me, or is it like, you know, is it the collective? And I feel like this is really like the energy of the collective. So I feel like there's going to be good vibes. I feel like there's going to be abundance. I feel like there's going to be freedom. And those who you thought were trying to oppress you, they're just going to fall to the wayside because they don't matter. And there's going to be a lot of information coming out that is going to change the way people think and perceive their world as a whole, okay? Again, not necessarily negative, but just see things with their third eye rather than see things with their two eyes, if you get what I'm saying there, okay? So a lot of information is going to be revealed. There are going to be revolutions, okay, across many different countries, globally, you know, obviously many different cities, but in a way that is going to be specific to their geographical location, because it's all over, it's different. You know, a revolution here might not be looking the same as a revolution over here, but there is going to be a revolution, and it's just going to be people who are standing up to totalitarianism. I don't know why I just channeled that, but there you go. Standing up to totalitarianism, and they are going to be demanding the respect that they deserve, okay, from whoever that may be. They're going to be demanding it, and then they are going to receive that respect, because it's sort of like, whoa, I didn't know you had that in you. It's sort of like the abuser getting smacked back, right? Like Captain Smack-a-Ho and shit, you know? And then they're like, whoa, and instead of like the abused person cowering in the corner, it's like the abused person, and this could be, you know, physically, mentally, emotionally, however, but again, on a global scale, right? So it could be like the abused person standing up like, listen, I don't know who you think you're talking to. And then it's like all of a sudden it's like, oh shit. And I'm seeing like a taking back of power. So all of the things that you might be seeing, obviously, on the mainstream media, it's not going to pan out in a bad way. It's going to pan out in a way where the individual, where sovereignty is going to be returned to the individual. I see the sovereignty being given back to the individual in whichever way that it resonates with them. And I see this feeling of exhilaration, like, okay, like I thought I could do it, but that now actually doing it, it feels really, really fucking good. Like there's going to be a lot of accomplishments happening. And I feel like there's going to be a lot of success on a global scale, especially for those who feel like they might be imprisoned or they might be enslaved, whether it's enslaved via, you know, what they say, how they think, or things like that, maybe actually physically enslavement or something like that. There's gonna be a lot of liberation, and it's going to cause like a mass uptick in consciousness for everyone on earth. So it's really energizing, it's really exhilarating. And I don't know, again, like when I was having the uneasy feelings, I didn't know exactly what was going to happen until, you know, like 2 months later, 3 months later, when I saw what was going on. I'm like, oh, okay, that was it. So again, I don't know exactly what is going to happen, but it's really, really fucking good. The energy is building, and it's exciting energy, because something is cooking in the fucking ethers, and it's coalescing, and it's coming to earth, okay? It's already there in the ethers. That's why I'm sensing it, right? And it's fucking happening, okay? So You might think I'm mad as a hatter for fucking saying this, but I felt like I need to do it because that's just what I'm seeing. And when the universe guides me to do something, here I is. So that's what I got for you today.
Peace.